StarCast.
Captain Flint doesn't want to see his face. He's actually part of the Medahajin. Hello.
The space Muhajin.
The space Muhajin.
You got to eat people into the beard. They can't have a beard straight away.
Good morning, everybody. It's Funny Hat Night. Who started this bullshit? I think it was Flint. I think Flint. No, Clifford did.
Clifford.
Well, of
I
course.
blame
But
Clifford.
you know what? He always wears that stupid hat.
Always.
Yes, he got it. So my hat is in honor of a dear friend that doesn't even know me, Mr. TotalBiscuit, who, if you guys are not familiar with him, he's a streamer, gamer, podcaster, a brilliant guy. He's been fighting cancer for a long time. He's a young guy. He's younger than me, actually. And he just got results back that it is now terminal. And so this is to Mr. TotalBiscuit wearing that top hat tonight.
Yeah, that sucks, TotalBiscuit. My dad had cancer too, but he had to end up catching it early.
Yeah. He's been fighting it for a while, and it just hasn't quite turned out so well.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer, exactly. Fuck it.
I go on a rant about that. Fuck cancer. God damn it.
So he inspired me to start doing podcasting, and so this podcast is sort of a direct relation to TotalBiscuit. So
He's also a Star Citizen fan.
he is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to start the show off as such a downer, but so Biogen, what's with your hat?
So Limpy is one of my favorite streamers on Twitch, and I'm basically a fangirl when it comes to him and nobody else, just him. I don't know why, but I accepted this about myself. And so is he. Yeah, I'm a Gabriel. That's what I am.
Long story short, he tried to type fangirl in a tweet to Limpy. And
Okay.
his phone auto-corrected to Gabriel.
Oh,
I just left it. I just accepted it. This is at TwitchCon. But anyway, so he wears a ton of hats. I've always liked it. I had some issues because I have male pattern baldness, so
don't we
I had
all?
some self-confidence issues with that, and I thought, okay, let me start streaming with some hats on. It'll be fine. It turns out I don't really care that much. But in the process of getting hats, one of Limpy's followers, Girls Get Horty too, she's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
She actually sent me hats just on request with no charge. Just here's an address, and boom, I've got hats right at my door. And the sucky part is this is a druid hat, right? It's a moose. So
It could just be a moose hat.
well, yeah. But the druid travel form in World of Warcraft is a moose.
Yeah.
And that's cool for Limpy because he plays a druid main in that game. I play a shaman main, and he has a wolf hat that's totally awesome. So we kind of have like each other's favorite hats because he doesn't have this one.
You guys should just trade it. Trade some DNA and then give hats.
I think we might. I think we might.
All right, Gio, what's your hat?
I'm
Panama
basically
Jack.
repping Calyx. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Gambit in the office.
I actually think you look like Pablo Escobar, but that's just me.
Coca! Get the cocaina!
Cocainas! Cocainas!
Well, yeah, I'm going to sell some space coke in my endeavor, so it's all cool. Everyone can come to Geo, and that's how we're going to do it.
Totally
Space
down
drugs.
with doing that with you. Totally.
Rabbit
If
coke.
you need someplace to sell your space drugs, buddy, I'm
Yep.
it.
And I'm going to have a Calyx hat while I'm doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Berserker. Cosmonaut or
I'm
something.
in space.
Yeah.
In a space station, so I have a helmet. This is an actual helmet.
It's great.
Totally
Actual
works.
helmet.
It's
Actual helmet.
Yeah, he's taking. Look at the vents on the side. It just.
With oxygen supplies and such.
It's
Yes,
exactly.
yes. It's an actual helmet.
functions.
Honest to God, functional helmet.
Oh my god.
I'm
It's impressive
sticking
you
to
got
this.
impressive you got it on with your headset on. How's that even fit?
That's a mirror. That's a big-ass helmet.
Yeah, Berserker, would you be it would be funny if some days somebody in your audience actually sends you a NASA helmet. What would you think?
I
That'd
would
be awesome.
I'd wear the hell out of it because one problem about this helmet is that it doesn't have anti-glare and like fog technology. So like if I'm in this helmet for longer than 10 minutes, it's like I'm fighting in London soup.
Let me just ask you something. Don't you think in the year that it is in Star Citizen, 2234, 43, whatever, they got rid of ties? I mean,
No, they didn't get rid of ties.
Oh,
The bartender wears a tie in the back of the bartender.
That's true.
In the back of the
Because he's
bar.
trying to look classic.
Very classic. Yeah, he's trying to dress like a 16th century dandy. Yeah.
I mean,
like-
you think about it this way: they still drink alcohol through the mouth as opposed to injecting it.
In their anus. Yeah. That's probably
In
better
their
way.
anus.
And-
That's how we're going to do it. It's 9:45.
Yeah.
Yes.
Suppository alcohol.
Yeah. So you just shove a little thing in your butt, drunk.
that was actually a problem. It was on the rise in the United States for a while, where college students were injecting alcohol straight up their butt.
Well, they were dip it into a tampon and they shove the tampon in their ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone
Crazy.
get butt drunk.
Yeah, but it'd kill
I'm not
you.
even
Like
kidding.
it's bad
This
for
is
you.
actually a thing.
Really bad for you. Yeah.
So here's me thinking that things up your butt happened after you got drunk.
Yeah, it's
And people
different.
say buying ships is a bad habit. That's not a bad habit. What the fuck?
Captain Flint, what are you dressed as?
So this is the head and neck portion of my freelancer cosplay that I wore at CitizenCon.
It's beautiful.
That some of you may have seen the Periscope of and random photos. Yes, that's all this is. This is a rather cheap attempt at cosplay.
That's
Man,
great.
You look like
Is that
soap off Call of Duty. That's the first thing I thought.
I did too. Yeah, me too. It was a Call of Duty outfit.
I said
He's a freelancer citizen.
Very good.
His future incarnation.
And Clifford is AKA Miku
Yep.
I
With
never
his-
thought that.
with his nipple pitchies.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. He's
Yeah,
not-
but I gotta thank Captain Richards for it though.
for that hat.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the topic at hand. Star Citizen.
What's that?
I don't know. It's a game or something.
Scam. Obviously, a scam.
Gotta love that.
I heard it's vaporware.
It is vaporware. It's
Definitely
never
vaporware.
coming out, and we all are never getting our money back.
Well,
that
it's
we deserve.
vaporware
Sort of
that.
a chainmail or something like.
Well, it's vaporware
Forward it
that
to your
just
friends.
recently got 93 million.
God.
Because we're all a bunch of foolish sheep. Knock it
There's a
off.
lot of
everybody.
people who don't want the train to hit them the next.
I know. Over a million people.
Don't share this, and you will, succumb to some fate. I guess it worked.
Berserker, are you going to do the news tonight?
Sure, I can do the news.
All right.
So the first, before we get to all that, the first big thing is the PTU for 1.3 was released Wednesday, and it is fun. They've actually had 2 different updates to it over the last 2 days. There's a lot of balance passes in there. It includes new areas of Arc Core. It includes buggies.
I'm sure you have the screen by the way.
New, I think that the graphics also got a little bit updated. It has new. It's
lighting in the hangar.
the 1.3 is kind of like the foundation for everything else. So, the foundation for the Star Citizen Alpha 2.0 patch, which will be coming out here soon, hopefully, which includes larger multiplayer maps, larger multiplayer overall, that kind of stuff. So, can you
Very
not
good
hear me?
stuff.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we hear you fine.
Good. And one of the cool things about the PTU being released is that there was an accidental, totally not intentional release of a song, of an epic 80s ballad style song about Star Citizen Universe inside the files called, I believe, Full Burn or Overdrive. I think it's one of the 2 names of it. So
It's awesome.
it is worth it. A Reddit user has posted it on Reddit, on the Star Citizen subreddit, and I believe there have been a couple of different people who've made videos, music videos out of it. It's a very, if you haven't got a chance to go listen to it, it's a great listen.
I can post a link if you're
Yeah.
cool with that, Doma.
Yeah, by all means. Are you a sub? You're a sub.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. You can
Damn
post anything.
right.
That's right. I just don't want you getting timed out.
Huh.
All right. Let's see what else we got. Well, I guess we
$3
could,
million
$3 million
has been made since last Saturday. So since this time last week, there has been $3 million added to Star Citizen's coffers.
Let's put it into context. That's more than the majority of Kickstarters make through their entire Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah,
We're all
I
In a
mean,
week.
I'm following another Kickstarter really closely, which is Mech Warrior.
Yeah.
The guys who make Mech Warrior, the BattleTech
They're doing
series.
BattleTech.
Yep.
Yeah, the old.
And they are still on 1.7, almost 1.8 million, and they've been struggling over the last couple. They made $1 million in a day, but then have been struggling to kind of make that up over the last.
Are they over?
Weeks.
What is it? What's that saying on Kickstarter? If you have to get over like 50% in the first 3 days, otherwise it's not going to make it.
Yeah.
Are they over it? I mean, they look like they're...
Oh, no. Their initial goal was only 250,000. They're like 1.7 million now.
They're good.
So they're making it. It's just a matter of getting like PvP and stuff like that in there. But just for context, it's been well over 2 weeks since they released that, and they only have 1.7. There's a lot of fans out there of MechWarrior and such like that. Star Citizen made $3 million in a week. Less than a week.
You gotta admit that presentation, which I put up on my YouTube channel, and a lot of people were like, "You guys are just a bunch of Star Citizen fags." I deleted some of the negative comments because
cultists. You're cultists. You're drinking a Kool-Aid.
We're drinking the Kool-Aid because
Kool-Aid.
We were so hyped at that moment. We just got through watching the presentation, and it was great. Right? We were just like excited.
Yeah.
But
I seen that dickhead. I respond to him too.
Yeah, but you got to realize that way we felt rippled across the entire community, and so a lot of people were just like they were waiting for that affirmation that it was actually going to come out, and it looked like it was what they said it was going to look like, and all of that. So,
and I think that leads directly to our next topic, which is over 1 million citizens, over 1 million people have signed up on RobertSpaceIndustries.com. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they all have the game, but there's over 1 million accounts active on our Robert Space Industries right now, which means that there are close to 1 million people who actually own the game. So that was great. It was a big moment, kind of a big event, kind of a bookmark event in Star Citizen, so much so that we've been talking about it for a while. The community's been talking about it for a while, and Chris Roberts released a letter from the chairman as a result. And in that letter from the chairman, he announced that they are going to be doing away with the Alpha Beta program and the Pass program. So now, if you want to get the game, all you need is the $30 pack, and you will be able to play all of the modules released from now on, all of the states of alpha through the release, and you only need $30. So it's actually made the game cheaper.
Well, the real question is here: why didn't they?
Gone.
What's that?
The $30 is gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the $45 Aurora LN is now the cheapest and best package you get.
Okay.
It's the best. It's a better ship, and it's all the stuff. But the basic ES, the $30 ship, has been removed.
Okay.
It's still a good price. I mean, come on.
It's still an amazing price.
Yeah.
For basically two AAA games.
Yeah, and even since they've gotten the 1 million backers, they've already surpassed that with 16,000 extra backers just recently in a couple of days. So,
well, also Eden Star, who was the 1 millionth backer, he's backer number 1 million, or citizen number 1 million, received a free saber. And the person who referred him also received a free saber.
That is awesome.
Cool. So that was both in the letter from the chairman, as well as a video with Admiral Bishop himself, or Bishop himself.
Yeah, he couldn't pronounce that.
Admiral
Bishop.
Admiral Bishop. Himself talking about Gary Oldman talking about how excited he was about being part of Star Citizen and being part of the lore and being part of this experience that we've all created. So that was a pretty good thing. And there's some other videos on there as well. It was interesting to watch. So
yeah, it is.
Why they get rid of the passes if they made money? If they're losing money, if they only have 8 million left,
they're broke.
It's space magic.
Well, now they got 12 because there's got.
I mean, according to their sources, the vetted sources, I mean, they're losing money. Why get rid of it?
You know what they say?
Well,
here's 8 million. You just basically have filed bankruptcy.
Here's my my CIG ID card.
That's a big ID card. Wow. Space Pistols confirmed.
Yeah,
I got mine here somewhere.
Yeah, or even better, my ID card. Totally, just my ID card right here.
There you go.
Sith Wizard. This is in honor of TotalBiscuit. I'm wearing that the top hat tonight.
Anyways, with that as well, there was a update to they've stopped doing the Star Marine updates and are now working on updates for Star Citizen Alpha 2.0, which will include the Crusader system, several stations, and an asteroid field, and the Crusader. That's not the system. The Crusader, the planet, which is a large Jupiter-sized planet. It's actually bigger than Jupiter, but
gas giant, yeah.
Gas giant, and I don't remember the exact size of the map itself, but it's something like trillions or quadrillions.
Yeah, quadrillions. Yeah.
Quadrillions of kilometers squared. It's a huge map, massive map. They had a couple different images and videos that they released, including the QA work they were doing on the presentation, and I think what was the final thing that they came up with? There was a lot of bugs listings. They started listing some of the blockers and stuff like that, including several blockers related to netcode. So
400 quadrillion kilometers cubed. It's pretty good.
Alicon, if you have a question, exclamation point question, and then click on the link and then put in your question that way.
Yeah, we're going to get to... I'm sorry, everybody. We do have a question and answer session later on in the show. And also tonight, if you stick around long enough, I'm going to be giving away some swaggy. Here's some hanger swaggy.
Swag.
Yeah. But it's unsurprising that netcode is one of the blockers, because, I mean, netcode is notoriously hard to do. I could go for hours onto prediction and network things for MMOs, but, it's notoriously hard to get right, especially when they have characters as complex as they do, and they want to have real-time animations in first and third person. It's one of the biggest challenges, and if they pull it off, their netcode is going to be pretty special.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's still problems. I mean, Halo and Call of Duty still often have problems with their netcodes, and they're much smaller, much more focused games, and they still have this difficulty. Netcode is an issue that is industry-wide. It's not necessarily an issue just with Star Citizen. So,
exactly.
Battlefront 4.
Battlefront 4,
Battlefield. I mean,
had that problem for a while.
I mean, they still have max map numbers on those because of those reasons. But I think what Star Citizen's doing on the tech front, actually having the netcode linked into the zoning system.
Yeah, and you're in multiple zones at once. I mean, not in multiple zones at once, but you travel between the zones seamlessly. Like, they're all instances. And so because of that, they can keep the size down. Like, you're not going to have 45 people standing in the same spot on your one constellation. You know, so,
it's like if you're inside the constellation, that's an instance. Outside the constellation is another.
Not only is it an instance inside the constellation, but when we were talking with Travis Day about this, it's not just an instance inside the constellation. It's an instance at the bridge, about halfway up the ship, about another halfway down the ship, and in every room within the constellation that you can get into, that's a separate instance as well. So
it's a zone. It's not just an instance, but it is a zone. Yeah, Drescher. Yes, I used to be an indie developer. Worked on MMO for 4 years. Just to give some background what I'm talking about. It was a game called Embers of Chaos, which kickstarted for about $5,000.
I didn't hear what it was. Sorry.
The name
Embers of Chaos.
Oh, Embers of Chaos.
Embers of Chaos. Oh.
It died. It was a sad story. The CEO flipped out and the whole project went down the pan because of him. But yes, so we kickstarted for $45,000. And I worked 4.5 years of my life, blood, sweat, and tears into that project.
Oh, I didn't know that, Flint.
Sad times. But yeah, I was technical director, so I have some first-hand experience trying to get things working. So I have a lot of respect for the for CIG and the extent of the work they're doing to make all this work. It's pretty special stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to hear someone who develops is not just a hating basement troll. That is so good.
Who would have thought that Geo was going to go down that road? I mean.
So, with that as well, with this continuing development, Zane has been promoted to the head of UI for the game. So his job is to coordinate all of the user interface, the GUI interfaces for all of the game. So he's been moving to England, to Manchester, to set up. That's where his main office will be. And so there's actually a picture on Twitter of, I believe Lando put it up there, of the LA office is saying goodbye to Zane, having a party for Zane before he left to go to Manchester. So he has now been promoted and is moving on to England. And as well with the 2.0, I think Flint wanted to talk about this a little bit, which is one of the things they talked about was this new concept called the green zone around certain areas in the Alpha 2.0, which is this baby PU they've been calling it, or the puny PU, or the
test bed,
the test bed, the test kitchen, the Exoverse, or whatever they're calling it. So,
hi everybody, and we're not purposely ignoring everybody in the chat. We're going to go to our Q&A section a little bit later in the show. We'll just chat with you guys the whole time. So just right now, we're just going through our stuff, and then we'll get. Yeah. We're not purposely just ignoring.
Yeah, even on Aftercatch, we'll have plenty of time to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're being asshats.
We're being asshats. Flint, you wanted to talk about the green.
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting how they're going to approach this because, I mean, Star Citizen by its very nature, it's friendly fire on, it's PvP everywhere, and if people pitch a game as open PvP, which Star Citizen hasn't, but if you pitch a game as open PvP, you have an entire horde of people complaining about, oh no, we can't play a PvP game, and then you have a horde of other people saying, oh, you're all Care Bears. But it's interesting because there's basically this mini universe. We don't have the slider yet, so you can't choose whether or not you're going to bump into people. You are going to bump into people, and there's the whole question of will they kill you? Will you kind of interact together? And if you go into free flight now, you generally get ganked by some random person. It's just the way it is. But that's not really sustainable for a PU that you want to make
with
inviting for people.
With permadeath.
Exactly, yeah, with permadeath.
Right.
So I'm interested how they're actually going to approach it within the mini PU. Whether we're going to get so to take for example some other games that have similar things. So you've got on one extreme you've got EVE Online, which has basically NPC police that turn up and blow you up if you try and kill people, which is the softer approach. Or you've got other games that literally stop you being able to shoot a gun within the green zone. And I'm expecting it to be the latter. But I'll be interested to see how they're going to do it and also where they're going to locate it. I mean, the patch notes obviously point out it's going to be the starter station, so where you load in, pick up your ship and fly off, which makes sense. But then you got the question, well, there's a repair and rearm station that if you're half dead and out of ammunition, you need to go and repair, you're going to be screwed if someone's just camping the place and blowing you up as soon as you come close. Like, someone can grief the hell out of that. So will the green zone include that? Or I'm just interested to see how they're going to approach it for this and how that's going to actually plan out.
It's running back to the guards in World of Warcraft or EverQuest.
Exactly right. The guards.
Yeah, I think it's going to be trial by error. They're going to set it to a certain radius around it. If that's not working, they'll increase it, decrease it, and they'll find a happy medium.
Yeah, I think at least it's just for this testing version because they don't quite have the AI police working yet because the AI isn't fully fleshed out. But I agree, it's going to be interesting to balance because it'll definitely pull up. People will definitely abuse it. They'll find all of the places they can abuse it, and they will abuse it to
right
grief
there.
people.
Yeah.
So. It'll
like
be
when you
interesting
sit
to
on
see.
the edge of the zone and shoot people inside the zone, there's going to be lots of little edge cases that we're going to have lots of fun testing. But I mean, I'm more for the softer side, right? Because I am all about emergent gameplay. When I play a game, I want random stuff to happen that we can get involved in, and having hard set militant rules of actually your guns just don't work here. It removes options for players. So I don't know. It'd be fun. It'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to see how they approach it.
I like how they did it in Elite Dangerous, which is like you can shoot at a station in Elite Dangerous or shoot the police in Elite Dangerous around a station, but then the station's going to blow you the hell up because you did it. You can try to run away, but it's kind of the nice kind of combination of the two. It's like this is the rule. You can break it, but you won't survive if you break it. Kind of thing.
Gray-headed Gamer is here now. Everybody couldn't be here tonight. He is getting his nipples resized.
That's right.
Oh, hey, Grey-headed Gamer.
So he can't be here tonight. But
Gray sucks.
We are playing his video down here in the lower right-hand corner, just as like to say he's sort of here.
Are we going up or down in size? Are we talking like dinner plates?
You want dinner plates, areolas.
Excellent.
Long nipples, like,
Yeah.
Okay, that was
for space. It's for space reasons.
It's for science. Yeah.
For science.
For science and space. Space science.
he's getting it done on the Endeavor.
Climbing
There it is.
nipples.
Surgery's going well. That's good.
Overclock nipples, nice.
It's when they cross in the middle, you have like a Venn diagram on your chest.
Oh, yeah. It is that middle nipple. That's the best. That's the best spot right there. All right. So, cool. That's only a neat thing. And we'll see if that persists. I would hope it does. They have to have some kind of system like Elite Dangerous. You get a little too close, you start shooting people. They just blow every fucker up. Like, the big guns on the station just start shooting everybody. You're fighting near us. We don't care. You're just going to kill you all, which... I think that would, if it's enough risk for that, I think pirates or people that are trying to harass people might not get so close.
I used to like the arcade system too. The arcade system had a nice system where a different zone would be hostile for a while until it calms down, and it's like peacetime where you can do all your trade, and then it'll go back to hostile mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I like any dynamicism in games as well. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I expect the hard lock to start with. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's gonna very much affect the way the universe pans out. But yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm just so excited for 2.0. Like my mind.
Oh, me too.
Blowing.
When does that come? And is that definitely?
Well, here's the thing. Because of a lot of people talk about this, and because of the netcode issues, a lot of people are concerned that it may not be. They may not be able to get it done fairly soon. So there's some estimates between, because they haven't said anything. They still have not said anything, but people are estimating between 1 and 2 months to all the way up to like 3 or 4 months, depending on what the issues. And the problem is it's game development. And as Flint will tell you, I'm sure, is that stuff can pop up for no reason because of the random things, and it can stop you for months just because you didn't foresee it happening. And it's not like, oh, you're an idiot.
Totally.
Right.
What the hell? We had no idea this bug was going to happen because we.
I'm going to counterpoint that though. Because given my estimations of what they're working on right now, the blockers and such, probably a lot of optimization. The discussions I had with various people over beers at CitizenCon, and also my inference from the way they're approaching the current testing with the stress test on Sunday, the information I'm gleaning from the notes, I honestly believe they are aiming to try and get it out by the end of this month. As a goal, and this isn't saying they're going to make it.
Right.
I'm going to say conservatively, like mid-November, is probably going to be a likely goal. But obviously, if it doesn't come before December, then that's fine. We'll let them roll because we just want to make a awesome game, right? But I honestly think that they are aiming to get out end of the month. And Chris almost let that slip. The chats I had with certain people who I won't name over beers at CitizenCon kind of edged towards that as that being the goal,
the internal goal.
But I wouldn't hold them to it at all. But I'm just super pumped to see it.
We're developing BrainBot, and it's myself and Stringman are the two main guys that are working on it all the time. And same exact thing. Little things just sort of pop up that we weren't expecting at all, and we have like plans. We have a whole roadmap of what we're doing, and we just have to okay, this is going to push us everything back like another 2 weeks or something because
I still believe they're going to shoot for a release PTU before the anniversary, and then it'll launch on their anniversary day is what I'm predicting.
I'm calling like that last year when they did 1.0. It was like before Christmas. I'm calling in.
Okay.
What's the anniversary day?
That's the 19th. The 19th to the 23rd, I believe.
Of November. Yeah.
Embrace your wallets.
That's my estimations, yeah.
Yeah. And here's my my take is that QA is very good at Star Citizen, and they're very good at listening to their QA. And it depends on where you talk to the different software developers. Either QA is there as a vital part of the team, or they're just there because they have to have them.
They're
and they
scumbags.
To them. Yeah.
Stop making me redo all my shit.
Yeah, I actually spent half an hour train ride on the way to CitizenCon with the QA team from Foundry 42. So yeah, they're a solid bunch of guys.
That's great.
And Star Citizen tends to lean on the listening to the QA side. So and QA is very good at finding all of the really bad bugs. And if they don't find it, then we find it. And so they do a very so the issue is of course not just fixing it, but you also have to test it and make sure it doesn't create other bugs. So
real quick question. People are talking about this in the chat. Let's go around the room real quick. Fallout 4 or Star Citizen 2.0?
Fallout 4 is going to be there after I finish playing, when I get bored with Star Citizen, or after I get bored with Star Citizen 2.0.
Captain Flint?
So Fallout 4 is going to be amazing, but it has no social element, and I'm all about the social. So it's got to be Star Citizen for me.
Clifford?
It's going to be a hard choice for me because the rumors that I'm hearing from a lot of people that No Man's Sky is going to drop October 27th, exactly the day that they
Could we have a few more games to drop all at once? Jesus Christ.
No Man's Sky has a release date?
Yeah.
Well, Clifford
if you let me finish.
Clifford, please finish up.
October 27th, they're having a Paris Gaming Week where PlayStation is going to be present, and supposedly the rumor is they're going to announce it being released that day on October 27th. That's the biggest rumor that's going around the net. If that happens, I'll probably be playing No Man's Sky out the wazoo until they drop something from Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
At which point you probably get bored of random planets.
What are you going to do, Biogen? Fallout 4 or Star Citizen?
I will never get bored of random planets.
At the risk of sounding like an asshole, which I don't care about anyway, because I always sound like an asshole, because I am.
I do too.
I don't actually care about Fallout 4, and I'm not even interested in playing it.
Okay.
I'm dead serious. So, Star Citizen covers a lot more. Besides the fact that it's between the two, it's obviously the choice for me, given that one is whatever and the other is kind of cool. Star Citizen, then you start throwing in all the aspects of social interaction that they're throwing into the game. I am really excited to see where that's going. Plus, I don't really have time for Fallout 4.
That's fine. Yeah, it's a long game. Geo?
Y'all don't even have to ask me.
All right. Hey, could you do me a favor, Geo?
You know what I'm going for. As soon as 2.0 come out, I'm on it.
Geo, would you do me a favor and move your camera down? Tip it down just a little bit.
Better?
No, you're a little farther down. I want to see your crotch. There you go. That's good. Just trying to get you some. All right, let's move on with our other stuff. Okay, it is now time for Citizen Gossip with... who's going to do this gossip tonight? Was it Geo?
I thought Zerka was doing it.
Zerker's doing it.
I guess I'm doing it again.
Zerker just likes to talk. It's Zerker's show. We're just here to support him.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Support the station.
Yeah, support the station. It needs a lot of support.
So I've been talking with the StarCast guys about this, and I've talked with several members of the Gunrathi about this as well. I know a few people.
There you go. You got that correct. Gunrathi. Everybody gets them confused. They're either Gunrathi or Goon Swarm. That's it. That's their two names.
Yeah, they could also be Starfleet Dental, and they've got a couple other names as well. There's a couple different types of goons.
They're fronts.
But there was some controversy here with recently with Beer for the Beer God, who's probably one of the mainline, like everyone knows who he is, kind of, who's also and him with some of the drama recently getting burned in that. But there are several other goons who have started to either get sour or decided, you know what, it's the amount of money I've invested in this game is not worth it. It's already going to get made. I don't want to, and I'll come back to it later when there's more content and it's more interesting to me. So there are several goons who have left Star Citizen, who have gotten refunds and are no longer playing, including one who has invested over $10K into the game and got a full refund.
No, he hasn't.
He hasn't?
I know the direct person you're talking about. No, he has not. He is waiting. He's giving them until the end of December to drop something.
Okay, because that's last time I had heard when talking to Captain...
Underpants.
Yeah, what's his name? Yes. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyways, so there is some issues inside the Gunrathi right now, and it's important to understand that the Gunrathi are one of the biggest organizations out there in Star Citizen right now, so there is some turmoil inside. Now, most of them feel like they're going to come back when the game gets closer to release. Are they going to? What I want to know is when they're leaving. I mean, I don't cover Star Citizen for a couple of weeks, and I just ignore it or whatever. That's just. But I mean, are they melting all their ships down and getting their money back, or how far are they getting out to try to get back in? There are people who are getting their money back, and they're asking if they can get their money back, and either melting it down to like a $45 package, the basic package, or completely getting all their money back, and then saying they'll come back when there's more content, sort of thing. So. All right, so I have a thought about this. There's a section of people, and this is not anything to do with Star Citizen. They like the underdog, and they like the sort of they like to be there for somebody when they're just starting out. Good example is my channel here. When I first started streaming and I got partnered, I had like twice as many viewers as I have now, and people were donating money like crazy, real fast, because I was just sort of starting out and I was sort of like the grassroots. But when you get to a certain size, everyone starts to ditch you because they feel like you've either sold out or you're not the thing that they wanted to back when they first started backing. I kind of think that's the feeling I'm kind of getting from this whole thing, because it's not just the Goon Squad doing this. I actually had somebody write me with a very detailed sort of expose of what's going on, and people are trying to get their money back now so they can sort of set up a precedence for it, so later on they can say, I just give me my money back and I don't want to be part of this, where it's so weird. Whereas, Steam's now doing it. You can get some of your money back from Steam for games you buy if you haven't played them for so many hours. But Star Citizen is sort of like being almost treated as a bank now. Like, here, hold my $5,000, and then when I don't feel like backing your game anymore, I'm just going to take it all back out. So, what do you guys think about that? As far as people only backing things when it's small and sort of unknown, but as soon as it gets big, they just want to drop it.
Well, deplorable.
Knowing the goons that I'm pretty good friends with. Talking to them intimately, I really can. I can really agree with their sentiment because because you can look at the history, and SIG has repeatedly backpedaled on release dates and this and that. So they have really put themselves in a tight spot because yes, we know it's open development. It's going to go back and forth because when you create something, it's going to break or mess with another portion of it, and then they got to go backwards, just like the damage system. They didn't know that they're going to come across this totally new, when I was talking to Orlando about it, they're a totally new damage station, and they were just like, man, we looked at it, we got to go back and use this other system because it would be more streamlined, easier to use, etc. So I really agree with the goons on their own personal preference because they have not seen anything new drop since Arena Commander. They have waited a long time. So I'm in agreement with them. If they want to get their money back and just go for a lower package and just wait until the end, then they're the ones that are going to have to, when they get back into the game, work themselves back up because now all they got is these smaller packages or buy back into it. Either way, they're given that open option, and they should be able to do as they see fit. And that's kind of like my take on it. I know some people. That's why I kind of hate when certain people try to stream or the extreme side of Star Citizen really beats on people who have a different opinion. I think you can be level-headed and have an opinion and not defamate that person for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
I don't think in any means that they think Star Citizen was all of a sudden they were rooting for the little guy and waiting for this because the Goon Roth and Goon Swarm are very smart in their way of hierarchy. And talking with a lot of goons and how they set up, they are a very, very organized group. Okay, now you do have, just like any other group out there, you have the fringe that are really extreme and like to derp on people, but then you have the core in it that are very, very tight-knit family. And they are going to be something to reckon with in Star Citizen if they decide to do one thing or another. Because we've seen it Eat Eve. If they find a part of the space they want to control, they will damn well do it. And if they see something that SIG is not doing right, they will find every which way to collapse that part of the portion of the game to see it get changed for the better.
It's using mob tactics.
Yes, and it made Eve better, actually, because it got some of the stuff and some of the shady stuff that the GMs were doing in favor of other orgs. So it's kind of like that love-hate relationship, I believe,
They're like
and
vigilantes. They're like vigilantes.
Yeah, kind of like that. And,
Their logo should be Guy
that's why I just
Fawkes'
don't like
face.
to see them really get beat on just because they've lost a little faith. There's a bunch of people who have, people we haven't even heard of. But they're just the small minority.
Let me interrupt for a second here. Let me just interrupt for a second. I think a lot of this started happening very recently, and I blame NK Sharp mostly, because after his video came out, that's when Derek Smart kind of just popped up and started, sort of reiterating, and then all the people started asking for money. I think he was on the pulse of what most people were feeling, but didn't really want to say it. So it kind of like was the thing that broke the water. Just like, okay, the dam broke after that point.
I take a little contention with the practice itself personally. Mm-hmm. I agree with Miku in the sense, Clifford, both. In the sense that I understand where they're coming from. I get the displeasure that they have, and I understand that there are legitimate reasons why they may be feeling very jilted about the whole process where they're not getting what they thought they were getting. At the same time, I always looked at a Kickstarter and any kind of a backer project of this nature as an investment, right? And with a purchase, you get buyer's remorse, and within a certain return period, you get your money back. But with an investment, you're in it, and that's it. And classically, it's always been a risk. So me treating them this way, I always kind of see it that if I'm going to throw this much money into it, I have to ask myself two questions. The first question is this hooker money? Can I spend this on hookers and blow,
Hookers and blow.
never see it again, and will I be okay? And if the answer is yes, then it doesn't matter. If the answer is no, I shouldn't be spending it. And if I then spend it anyway, then I need to make damn well sure that this is something I believe in enough to protect myself financially in the event that I have to, wave around on the street corner for some extra cash to make rent. So,
and Lando made a good point of what you're coming across, because Lando said, "Hey, in all, he said, I mean this with all sincerity. If you have something more important in your life you need to spend that money on, don't spend it on Star Citizen. I don't want to see somebody spending their rent, their livelihood, surgery, or something for this game." He said, "I've reiterated this with Sandy, with Ben. We're
Sandy
all on
said
this thing."
before. She told us slow down on the ships before. I heard her say it.
So I fully agree. Because like when I posted of how much I put into this game, and somebody gave me the side remark, you're not in your right mind. You don't know a sense of what you're doing. Block. And permanently, I don't want to speak to you. Kind of that kind of attitude that they did. Well, I came back.
Shut him down.
I came back and just said, "Hey, I'm successful in my life. I spend my money how I see fit. It's just like when I spend my money on the stock market, there's a risk. You're going to lose money or gain money. Same with Star Citizen. It could crash and burn 100% and you lose your money. Will I regret it? No, because it was something that I knew I was getting into and that there's a little risk involved."
Absolutely.
To just a little to expand on that, I played Super Monday Night Combat, and I loved that game, and I spent money on skins, and I supported it, and it ended up dying. And me personally, I'm not looking for recompense for that. I want to see it get better. I respect that Goon Squad, their tactics work for EVE, and it helped improve the game. That to me, it's kind of amazing because that's a community-driven effort to improve things that worked. At the same time, I don't know that this method is really anything more than sort of crying chicken little. I would say that the sky is falling, and people I've known and noticed throughout the decades, they latch onto this idea as soon as it becomes even mildly popularized. It goes from fringe to mainstream, that it's bad, it's not going to work, and then you see the media starts getting in on it. It's all over the place. Everybody's talking about it, and sometimes projects really hurt from it.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to see is Star Citizen get hurt because people aren't confident enough in it, and then because they're honoring refunds for anybody and everybody, and then everyone's just doing it because, hey, I have another $35 I can spend on Fallout 4 or some other game.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely that real thing there. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry, the way I say it, I find it hard to call it an investment. I mean, it works as an investment because your return on investment is an awesome game, but in real terms, it's more akin to giving money to a certain charity, say. It's not that we're buying a game. Much like if you were giving money to some medical society to develop the cure to some disease, we're giving money to CIG in the hope that they're able to take that money, do the research, do the development they need to do to hopefully give us the best game we've ever played. This is about funding the dream. And this isn't, if I gave money to some heart disease organization, I won't ask the money back a year later because they haven't cured heart disease.
Right.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't.
Here's the thing: is that this is also something that's we're saying goons because they're probably the most prominent.
Right, this isn't the only people, like I was saying before.
But they're not the only people. Yeah, there are plenty of people who do this from all sorts of walks of life. And one of the things that I think is very prevalent, it's because of this, is that Star Citizen, it's because of the lack of development that a lot of people are starting to turn back around on it. However, at the same time, this isn't a pre-order. It's something different. And I think everyone who started backing it very early on had a very similar concept, which was, this is literally the term voting with your wallet. This was literally us voting with our wallets to try to tell publishers and investors this is that the systems that they were using did not work for us, that we were gamers. Yeah. We have our specific games that we want to play. You're not meeting our needs, so we're going to take our money, which we earned, and we're going to invest it where we see that it's going to happen. And I think as a result, Star Citizen has been getting, and because of what, as Biogen said, because of popularity, people and media start turning on it because it becomes no longer the scrappy underdog and it starts being the juggernaut of $100 million kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's fed by this fear that the system that in which Star Citizen's challenging is going to start to change. And because change is bad, because change means that some people who currently are invested in the system and have money don't have money anymore. So, it's a combination of popular beliefs and of other things that are going on, that kind of stuff. So,
Derek Smart 3080 says, pro tip, refunding pledges is another way of voting with your wallet.
All right, I gotta say something.
All right, go ahead, man. Let it loose.
I've been sitting back. Okay,
you've been sitting back all night. You've been really quiet. What's up with that?
I was letting y'all talk. I didn't want to interrupt. I'm about to go on a tangent. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
We've only got 15 minutes, so make your tangent quick. Okay.
I'll do it quick. Miko, you said the dude spent $10,000, right? When did he back this game?
Back when I backed it, back in November of 2013, sometime. Yeah.
So that was during the Kickstarter.
No, afterwards, when their main site finally went live, the good one. Actually.
Okay, were there stretch goals on there?
Yeah, yes. That's during the time that stretch goals were still going.
Okay, so he knew about all those features and all this stuff that's getting implemented now when he put that $10,000 down, right?
Yes.
So what is he worried about, and what is why is he asking for a refund? You put $10,000 into a game and you didn't do enough research and didn't see those stretch goals to know better. They're like, I should wait putting $10,000 in to see if the stuff comes to fruition instead of put just $45 down. That makes no sense. I would agree if it was before that and they didn't have the stretch goals, it was the main stuff on the Kickstarter. Okay, maybe that would have been okay. But this dude's sitting here mad. Oh, I want my $10,000 back. Like, you played how many hours? I wonder how many hours did he play before he asked for that $10,000?
A lot. He's played a lot. He's very passionate about Arena Commander. He loves it. He played it lots and lots. But his thing is this. Hindsight is 50-50, okay? You don't know what the development process is actually going to be like, how it's going to go back and forth, because we don't have a lot of the behind-the-scenes information. And he's not necessarily hating on SIG or anything. He's just like, hey, by December, I should have something more to play with my friends so that we can start really interacting more. Right now, you're just popping in Arena Commander, and you don't know who you're going to pop in with, because sometimes the matchmaking system is broken and not working correctly, and he really wants the PU side, to drop, and he wants this interaction with his fellow teammates, to where they can actually, hey, we're going to act like the bad guys. Y'all going to act like the good guys. We're going to set a Connie out in some portion of space and do a mock battle. That's what he's been looking forward to, and it just seems like they keep every time. And the biggest thing is, I think, with him is the fact that in Australia they shot off the FPS, and now what are we already in November and still no FPS? That would burn anybody. I think it would make them really bad.
We signed up for that. When we put the money down, we knew what was going on. This is a Kickstarter. There's going to be lumps and bumps and all kinds of stuff like that. In closed development, features get cut. You don't see that shit. And no features that got cut so far that I know of in Star Citizen. They've been sticking to the book, because I know it'll be Armageddon. The moment they cut a feature, it's going to be all hell on the internet. This
is a journey that we decided to go on, and we jumped in for however much we thought we could do with it.
Exactly. I can't throw, I seen this dude throw $10,000 on the table at a casino, okay? He lost 5 of it. I left before I could see him spend the rest of it. He can't go and say, oh, you know what? I got to change of heart. Can I get my $10,000 back? No. He did that. He knew what he was doing. You got to be an adult, because I know the dude who put $10,000 down is an adult. He should have made a better choice. What I did, I waited. I didn't even have the damn computer I could push this game. I sat back, watched it for a few months, and I've been watching this thing transform and go higher and higher, and that's when I decided to buy more ships. I started off with a $65 package, and now I'm thousands in later on. I didn't just say, oh, $10,000, take my money. So that's really his fault. I can't feel bad for someone who's not an adult enough to watch his own money have buyer's remorse. I don't feel bad for him.
Yeah, well, he probably doesn't want you to. He in his reaction, he doesn't want anybody to feel sorry for him or feel bad for him. It's just that that's his opinion, and I think, he is like one of many people, because we all have different opinions and everything. And I'm not going to shoot him down for if he feels in his heart that it wasn't what he concepted it would end up being, or even knew the risk or didn't know the risk. But the guy is a very smart guy. And it's just what he feels like. And I think that, hey, dude, if you feel like you want to come back later, that's fine. Come back later. The package will still be there for you to grab again. So, if you feel that way, I'm sorry to say that you feel that way, but more power to you. I hope you'll come back and, when it drops. But that might not even happen if everything, because really, from what I'm hearing, we're going to see that PU portion drop before the end of the year. I kind of have more confidence in what I know, that I really believe in my heart that it'll come back in the end of the year and this will blow over and he'll be like, okay, this is fine. Yeah. I got something more to do, so I'm happy.
This is a lot of all speculation and stuff. Yeah. So I do kind of want to scoot to our next topic.
All right, last thing real quick.
Yes,
and the other guy, who's the other guy? Beer for the Beer guy.
Yeah.
This dude, how he betrayed CIG.
No, he was trolling. He was trolling DS. Yes, he was trying to troll DS and it backfired on him.
He's back cool and he's not trying to get the refund.
No. He was trying to troll DS. He was trying to. Goons are known for trying
that's their big thing. Yeah,
I thought you said the rest of the goons was trying to.
No. What happened was that he was trying to troll. He was trying to troll Derek Smart.
Yeah, he loves
backfired. Okay, I heard that part. I thought you said he was continuing. Okay,
never
mind.
It backfired on him. He got a 3-day ban. He took it. He manned up and moved on.
Okay.
But the problem was that when that happened, a lot of the other goons started to make some noise about this, and over time that ended up being. That's what started coming out. A lot of people were talking about where there's something going on with the goons, and I heard from many different people talking about like who I know who are part of the goons or know have connections with the goons. Started hearing this chatter about it on things like something off of forums and the Star Citizen threads or other places, and they were wondering what was going on. So
both legitimate places to find the facts.
Yeah. More of the story: be smart with your money. That's the moral of this story, guys.
I guess so.
Know what you're buying into.
All right. Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about real quick, this is just we do a little segment here called Alternate Dimensions, and we're going to talk about just another game that is coming up, and it has nothing to do with Star Citizen, or it could have a lot to do with Star Citizen. This particular one actually does, and it is called Vanduul Against Humanity. And unfortunately, hold on a second, I got to pop up my screen. Unfortunately, I have no way to print it out so we could actually play it or play it online. But I'll put the link up in the chat. If you guys are familiar with Cards Against Humanity, this was made by our buddy Kin Shadow, who's been on the show several times, and he's a really great member of the Star Citizen community. And it has a ton of white cards and black cards for you to play with, and more are being made all the time. But it's free. It's Creative Commons, so you can download it and just print it out and use it anytime you want to. I didn't have a way to play it online tonight. Otherwise, we were going to play it a little bit just in between. So yeah.
You know what? He won the I'm a Star Citizen contest too, I think, with me.
Kin Shadow? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's been part of this community since the beginning.
I think he's been he's a golden ticket backer. He's been around for a very long time. He also lives in Austin, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he has great hair.
So he actually like has visited the offices as personal friends with people like Ben Lesnick and Wingman and those people who helped start the game. So
yeah, he's a good guy. So anyway, support his game here. It's free. I can just download it and start playing it yourself. If you're not familiar with Cards Against Humanity, basically the way it works is everybody gets passed out these white cards, okay, and then the person whose turn it is gets the black card. And he will put the card down, and the card will say something like, after Star Citizen, Chris Roberts plans to make the game about, and everybody else will have their own hand. And then the players will put down, Lando Fever, helmet, the Gladiator, the Aegis Corvette. So these are the white cards you put down. And the person who has the black card doesn't know who put down what card. He'll pick one, whichever one he thinks is the best, and that person, if they win, they get to be the black card holder for the next round, and so on.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty fun. Cards Against Humanity is a great game. It sounds really like it wouldn't be fun, but some of these are really can be really fun and raw.
It's great when you get a bunch of creative people around you,
Yes.
and usually if the alcohol starts imbibing and flowing,
it's a good drunk game.
When it's not good, is it when you're a British person playing with a lot of American people and they just don't get your humor?
Right. And then they never pick you, right? They completely don't pick you. All right. Let me close this up. So now we're going to go ahead and... what the hell? There's an ad play. Ruin that thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now it's time. Let's see. Are we done with that part? I think we are. It's time to start our Q&A time. Let's see.
How many minutes we got?
3 minutes left.
3 minutes.
All right, start dancing there, Gio. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Now we can go ahead and start with the Q&A time. That's fine.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start the QA.
We got lots of questions. So if you haven't asked, if you want to have us ask a question, just type an exclamation point question in the chat, and we have it in here. And I'll read the questions tonight. It's easier for me to read it than you guys. And then we'll all go around the room and answer the questions. So if you have any question about anything, whether we know anything about it or not, we'll still answer it because we're that vapid.
We are.
I got a question for the audience. Do you guys put in money into shit that you don't believe or don't do research on?
We'll wait 45 seconds to get the answer for that one.
How many times do you go to a restaurant, eat a sandwich, and ask for a refund?
You can puke it back up.
Sandwich.
Seriously, innovation requires iteration. That's all I'm saying.
Listen. If you're one of those people who goes to a restaurant and demands free food, fuck you. I'm just going to say straight out, fuck you. I used to work
Give me
as a
my
waiter.
free food because I'm special.
I used to work in restaurants. Seriously, fuck you. You're a horrible person.
Hey, 20% of zero is still zero.
That's true. That's true. All right. So first question tonight is from Alec DK. We got to do a word wrap there. This is a long one.
That's what she said. Giggity.
Never said by a woman ever. I don't know if you have already talked about it, but what do you think about the referral program? I've already seen people spam their codes all over the internet and the RSI forums. There's one guy that got Google
all over my
referred.
page.
People have been going in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Last week, I've had to delete 7. I counted them. 7
I got
ads.
9 prospects and 1 recruit.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 7 ads on my fucking video.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
calling into other channels and saying, use this code for the discount.
It's both awesome and terrible. It's awesome because it's free advertising for Star Citizen. The fact that people are spreading that far and wide is amazing and great. And hopefully, because the thing with projects like this, they're pretty niche. So people just won't have heard about it. So all this recent press, all this people spamming their referral codes is all just getting exposure, which is amazing.
But the wrong kind of exposure. Like, I have G2A as an affiliate, right? What's that?
It's the same.
Yeah, and people come in my channel all the time and spam G2A ads, and then that makes G2A look bad after a while. They're like, oh, this attracts that kind of person who's just going to go
that's the flip side.
Yeah.
So that's why it's awesome, but also terrible because, please, if you just don't.
It's become such a problem that the subreddit had to deal with the referral codes issues. It's a good thing, but it can also, people can take it a little bit too far. And there's some people who it's like the whole like referral. It's just like kind of like the system about the money system, and there the fundraising system in the sense, there's reasonable time to get a refund. Like there's a reasonable time to do a referral, and then there's the unreasonable time where you're just an asshole,
Right.
And there are assholes among us, So, especially, there's even someone who took out a freaking Google ad with their
I saw that.
ad. With their referral code.
That's brilliant. Now, see, the problem. The thing is
brilliant.
that was brilliant. Now, that's brilliant because he's using the established system that's already there, and he is making it look like you want to get into Star Citizen, use this link. I think that's brilliant. Okay. But going to channel on Twitch or going to channel on YouTube and putting your link in the comments, it's
the same kind of poaching that we've had to deal with for anybody who's used any popular referral programs. We've got people who use Green Man Gaming and GOG. Domo and myself have G2A links and a few other streamers. And how many times have you seen Domo people coming into your channel and just dropping their own G2A links to try and get somebody's referral for them, which is just like you're literally trying to take money away from me.
Yeah, they are. They're hijacking it because if people in your chat who are your normal viewers, hold on, I'm going to turn this. If they're the normal viewers and they click that link, they've disconnected your referral from you to now them. So any games that they buy on G2A will go to that person. It's the same kind of thing with the referral program here. I don't think it really matters. Like right now, I guess I've got about 6 prospects and 1 recruit.
Someone could say it's like, I don't know, maybe like trying to hawk your own game on somebody else's forums, on another game's forums. I don't know. That might be a thing. You know, that might be a thing that's kind of a douchebag move to do. I'm just saying.
Douchey.
Not very smart.
Yeah.
Or is it?
All right, next question is this one's from Alec. No, this one's from Humanville. Human Evil 51. Do you guys watch the open house stream, and if so, what'd you think of it?
I watched it. I think that if it was just DS and Morgan, it would have stayed really productive because them two seem to have a good solid dialogue between each other that didn't go out of control and off all kinds of tangents. Mm-hmm. The other people just kept, I don't know, they weren't, to me, DS and the Morgan guy were more intellectual in their conversation than the rest of the guys were just throwing random stuff.
Right, the Gamergate guy was an asshole, just a pure asshole. Yeah. Like, I didn't want to listen to him anymore because everything was just, he was just angry about every fucking thing and I didn't want to listen to him. But yeah, I actually did enjoy the banter going back and forth between Derek Smart and Morgan. I thought both of them presented their case fairly well. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Derek Smart, but at least it came across as being genuine with what he was trying to say, even though, you know, some of the stuff was sort of backpedaled, and Morgan kept his cool and kind of, you know,
did his views of everything.
So I think that went very well. I think it did. It was good.
I'm glad someone shut his ass down for once.
Morgan. Oh yeah, Derek Smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's another thing that. That's one of the reasons why I keep out a lot of the gaming politics. I think a lot of people keep out of gaming politics.
Totally,
is because it can get really polarized. People can really be, and a lot of the people who lead these movements are assholes. They're just straight up assholes. Mm-hmm. So
that's why they're loud.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, it's like we see on the internet. You know, the smallest groups are going to be the ones that are yelling the loudest, tweeting the most, you know, Redditing the most. Mm-hmm. And the bigger groups kind of say hush because they're all satisfied. They're just like, you know, we don't know. Yeah.
It's true, absolutely. And I gotta at least get involved enough to where I'm not complacent about it. Because if like we let some loudmouth assholes like ruin the game for us,
Bad News Baron's in the chat.
Hi, Baron.
Bonjour, Baron.
Yeah,
I forgot to shout you out.
I just want to let you know, Baron, that they're quitting your Bad News Baron team and they're going to come join my team.
Oh wait, Baron, if Bad News Baron, if you weren't there last night, please listen to the base because Lando was going off on you big time, and you'll get a big laugh out of it because he doesn't mean no ill will to you. It was all for fun, and just listen to it. It's hilarious.
There's truth in jest. He actually does hate you.
Oh yeah. Speaking of ill will, Baron, they call me and you obnoxious, and we I guess we represent the community bad. Seen that on the forum.
Very obnoxious.
Fun, huh?
Okay, next question here is from Nightfly. This is a very deep, important question, so are you guys ready? Are foldy wings the best thing since sliced bread? Go.
Potato.
You can't eat foldy wings.
But sliced bread just revolutionized bread, you know, and foldy wings might revolutionize foldy wings.
Are we going to flap in space?
No, but it's more for like parking your ship in a tiny little slot, you know.
Flap citizen.
I like the idea of foldy wings. Star Wars really made it look cool. Mm-hmm. And you're right, yeah. Parking it, maneuvering, even being able to shoot yourself forward, then retract your wings and skim through a really narrow opening is a really cool idea. I think, yeah, sure.
I am definitely all for ships that you can minimize for the thrusting of smaller ships into the rear ends of larger ships. Everyone's seen my YouTube video. I'm all about that.
Absolutely.
It's all about
Fan
that.
fiction cannot unsee.
That base?
Okay.
Nice.
Next question we have here. Matter of fact, guys, remember ask your questions. Just type in ! question in chat, and you can type in whatever, and we're going down the line. We'll get to it in about 5 minutes. Yeah, about 5 minutes. I'm going to start my first giveaway for some hanger swag I'm giving away tonight. This one is from Mech-Technical. What will be stealthier ship in terms of getting detected in the first place? The Hornet Ghost, the Sabre, or the Mustang Delta?
the Delta, or in terms of which will be get detected first?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Well, we have no idea about the Saber or the Ghost. What will be detected last will probably be the Delta because it's so
Yeah.
small.
I had the Ghost for a while. I didn't find much use for it. I just love the fact it was black.
Yeah.
It was just so awesome
Ghost would be last since it's the more stealthy one out of all of them.
Yeah.
And I think
That's
the
what I
Delta
would've thought.
It's got the Ghost. No, the Ghost has that radar absorbing material. It's got the radar stuff.
Yeah.
But so does the Delta. It's just not as effective as the Ghost's is. It's just also like straight up, its cross section is much smaller. So any kind of cross section read would be very small.
Unless they're
and it
using
doesn't have as much power.
futuristic space radar made out of lasers.
If the Saber is close to a Super Hornet as it's supposed to be, I would say that one probably get picked up first.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the low profile because in jets today they use low profiles like that to avoid radar.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's hard to say.
Bloody missiles.
It's hard to say. It's the answer is.
None of us did read the Saber Q&A. Well done. I'm sorry. Okay. Next question. What happens? This is from Kazuka. What happens when my zone gets too close to your zone and they accidentally touch? Magic happens. It's just magic.
Dinner plate
Magic
nipples.
They zone bump.
They kiss.
They do. They do penis docking.
They actually, I think if the zones actually overlap, then it's they don't think they can. Really,
They
No, they
can't.
can't.
No, you
if
try.
a zone is ruptured,
Yeah.
it becomes part of the outer zone.
It's like a bubble.
Such as if your ship gets a hole blown in it, you become part of the outer zone.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no zone intersection. There's no Venn zoning.
Yeah, you get little baby zones. Next question is from Argentum. Hey guys, curious about the group's assessment of A, the removal of alpha package, and B, the increased number of price of game packages, and why the changes. Okay, let's start from the beginning. What do we think around the room here? What do we think of the removal of the alpha packages?
I think it's a good thing.
yeah.
I like it.
So I don't feel special anymore.
That's what it was. That's what it was all about.
I think it's awesome.
That's what it was all about to begin with. It was sort of like a way to distinguish yourself from other players, and I get it. We want to say that we were here the longest, and we've got big penises.
Honestly, I think I'd rather have like some sort of small little like trophy or something for backers rather than the 10,000
forum badge.
On the base, Lando kind of addressed some of this. He said from the longtime backers, the hanger flare and the stuff like that is a certain color. They said when you get into the verse, those colors are going to change. So they'll be able to. There's stuff in there that's going to be distinguished who was there like from a long time ago to who's just recently in there and gotten all these collectibles and stuff like that. He said that they're going to distinguish a lot of stuff in there to make to show that you are a distinguished individual amongst everybody else who was early backer or been more pronounced in there. It's kind of like the the little plaque we got in our you won't be able to get that in the verse. Certain little nitpick stuff like that.
I mean, I do ultimately I like it. Like aside from not feeling special, I think being extra inclusive is good for the game, for the community. Like we've grown beyond our elitist initial backing selves. We are now a wider community of something up to 1 million citizens now, and getting everyone involved now and early is just an amazing thing. And I think the community will benefit from it.
But they also had to increase the price just because at a certain point they're going to have to start raising the prices up.
That's going to happen.
To get 60,
Yeah.
and so
It's a business model thing.
Yeah, not only that, but it also rewards us who have been backing, who are early adapters and that kind of stuff. It's actually rewarding us, saying, "Hey, you got it in cheap. Now the people are going to have to pay a little bit more to get in, but they're still getting a discount from the final price." So,
Yeah, it seems like a fair system to me, and I'm of the opinion that even the matter of saying you are no longer selling alpha packages without describing a new state of development implies some sort of progress that everyone sort of feels just by virtue of it being there. That it has to have a positive effect on public idea, which more people, more money, more Star Citizen, better. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a good thing.
All right, next question here. What is our best estimate for the release date of the mini PU?
We gave those already.
Yeah,
I thought the other question was a two-parter.
Didn't we? I think I already started talking about the increase in minimum price of the game. Didn't Berserker just talk
we
about
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
that? Yeah. Okay. Next one is okay. What's the best estimate for release of the mini PU? What do we think?
Well, I said around anniversary day for the mini PU, and then the FPS portion will probably either be at the end of the year or beginning sometime next year, first quarter.
So I'm gonna side with Clifford on the release of 2.0. Like I say, I'm sure they're aiming for end of month, but that there is going to be slippage, and that date actually makes sense as far as slippage. If we get it earlier, awesome. I think actually the FPS will come a lot sooner after that, because there's only little game mode tweaks and some fixes they do with the animations between what we're getting for 2.0 and actually the FPS. So I think we're going to get a lot faster cadence between the 2.0 and the FPS release.
And I'm kind of curious, because they have not talked a lot about it, and we know they've been working on it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
The Shubin mining platform.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking that's going to be dropped in the PU 2.0, because when they start adding in the mining mechanics, I think we'll see that appear. Yeah, I think it's a surprise. I think they'll make it appear eventually.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, right? We get 2.0, it's the foundation. Everything else we're going to get after that, all the systems, the E-War systems, the mining systems, the exploration stuff, is we're going to get it in a small form within that. And that's the whole point, is to get us that early and then allow them to introduce these little systems and get us to play them. Because we can't do mining in Arena Commander. That just wouldn't work. So they can't give it to us to test.
Right.
So it's that foundation. And I think they want to get to us as soon as possible.
What do you guys think for ships? I know that the Starfarer is coming soon. I don't want to. I mean, I guess if I have to, I have to. I don't. None of my ships are in the game yet, except the little ones I've got. I want to fly my freelancer around. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say freelancer. I'm waiting for the freelancer.
I think you'll get a Connie or a Retaliator as a replacement for your freelancer. For the
well, don't worry, Domo. I don't think you're going to have to wait too long for your freelancer.
Yeah, well,
so freelancer will be done by the end of the year.
Why not?
Yeah.
I just don't understand why it's one of the very first ships. It was my very first large ship.
Yeah,
why it's not
freelancer is supposed to be done before the end of the year. They said it's going to be. They're aiming to have that thing flyable before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So Erin said to me after buying me a beer and Monkey a beer, it was amazing. I've had a beer brought to me by a developer. It's blew me away. Anyway, but he basically said, it'll be with us by the end of the year. Don't hold him to it, but it will. Is how he put it. So freelancer by the end of the year.
I'm more along to believe him above everybody at SIG.
Yeah.
Exactly right, yeah.
And Aaron said you wouldn't want to get rid of that Starfleet, because Aaron said you're in for a treat for that ship.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bigger.
I got the Gemini.
And it makes sense also that the freelancer would be out shortly before the end of the year, just because of the like they said they wanted to get the most popular ships out, and that's how they did it with single-seater ships. It makes sense with the multi-crew ships, which would be the Retaliator, the Connie, and the Freelancer, the three most popular multi-crew ships, probably next to the Cutlass. But the Cutlass is already in, so.
And don't forget the smaller ships. Like, we've got the Herald.
Yeah,
Herald.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
all
Herald.
on the Herald front, but they're going to drop that, and that's going to come with all the E-War stuff to test.
What is it? I'm just reading something in the chat from Mug Avengers, right? He's like, I think he's not a fan of Star Citizen. He says Star Citizen was a sci-fi movie, be a lazy B movie with painfully cliche ideas and dialogue. A 215 man imagining a sci-fi universe where we work, drink coffee, save up money for a slightly faster ride, and you can travel at quantum speeds. It's like a 1700s farmer imagining the distant future where he harvests wheat with a hovering hoe, beats his wife with an automatic electric belt, and reads the Bible 2 pages at a time with special glasses. Now,
Wow.
but listen, no, hold on, just stop.
Can I play that game?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. I want to play that game. But no, listen, what I'm trying to... The thing is you got to understand that what is today science, it comes from the science fiction of people like Jules Verne and all the predecessors way back when, right? So they imagine shit that just didn't happen. Like stuff just, we can't do things.
Yeah,
But
but they also, like the Jules Verne and that kind of stuff was what they imagined the future to be, and that's different. And this is not about necessarily the future. This is about having fun in a movie like universe. And if it's going to be like a B movie, it's like whatever. Then it's a B movie I'm going to play in.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
People don't like Firefly. I like Firefly.
Yeah.
I would add something to that too. It's really important. What a lot of people complain, not a lot of people, but you hear these kind of complaints occurring on a lot of different space sims. Are we going to have beyond visual range combat, right? And the answer to that question is the same answer you would have to a number of other questions about why don't we have this or why don't we have that? Because it'd be fucking boring.
Yeah.
Because it's not fun anymore. It's just a bunch of numbers, and at that point, you're sitting in front of a screen doing math. So if you want to send a bunch of drones out and do shit like that, go play something more akin to an RTS and have your fun in your strategy. But if you want to have a fun action game that's pretty and you look at things and you have this sort of experience, it is going to have some ideas that are more closely tied to an antiquated vision of the future, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
All right, hold on one second. Let me interject here. I'm sorry, Mug Adventures. The way I read that, it sounded like you weren't a fan, because we get a lot of people come to our show when we're doing this who are like hardcore Elite Dangerous people or something else, and they just want to beat us up. So I thought that was where you were coming from with it. But either way,
it's a good question.
It is, I wasn't beating you up for it. I was actually trying to say that even if it was a B movie with some kind of crazy futuristic things that are never going to come to pass, it's that it spurs the imagination of humans, and we can make great things when we can see sort of visualizations of our imagination. So
I mean, think about Star Trek, for instance. Star Trek was kind of like a B.
Star Trek was horrible.
The original Star Trek was terrible. I mean, I tried to watch it recently on Netflix. It was horrible. But a lot of the stuff that they thought that was going to be in the distant future of, or things that we have, like they have like 3 or 4 different devices.
Stop.
For, like, communicating.
Stop.
And
we are on
like
video phones right now.
I know,
right?
And I have this.
The cell phone, yes.
Whatever the heck I want is a mini computer.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
And this is more advanced than anything in Star Trek. That's the crazy thing, is that this is what we have in ourselves.
We went through the flip phone phase, which was the phase prior, but now we've advanced past it. So, and they're working on teleportation. They've actually got like one photon to teleport, right? I mean, it's not a lot, but maybe they will eventually.
And I like the good point that during the base that Lando brought up is like some people, he said, it's all fun and games for people to really get. He said, I don't understand. He said, this game at the end of the day is supposed to be fun. Gaming is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. He said, this internet war that's going on, he said, I play it off as background noise because we're trying to build a game to have fun, not to for you to scrutinize. If you don't want to play it, that's fine. It's a game for people who like what we're doing, who want to have fun in this massive universe. And also, what Chris and Aaron are doing, I throw it up as just like the JFK speech on going to the moon. On going to the moon.
In the background?
Yeah, sorry, Clifford.
Sorry.
Big bottle of
it's just like the John F. Kennedy speech of, why are we doing this? We're not doing this because it's easy, because it's hard.
No. You're from fucking Texas. Can't do it. It's not because it is easy, but because it is hard.
Yeah, and that right there, that statement right there applies to Star Citizen. He's not doing it because it's easy. He's doing it because it's hard. It's somebody who hasn't tried to make it happen the way he envisions it to happen.
And we're going along for the ride. We're taking his vision and we're saying we're backing it. We're saying take us there.
Yeah, take us there, basically.
Yeah, take us.
And it's just like the taxpayers. They paid for NASA to go to the moon. They had a belief that you can do it. We don't care if you're spending our tax money on doing all this testing that ends up blowing up. Eventually, we know we're going to get there.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys. Ever.
Oh my God!
Rapid cast, I love it.
Have we ever? Yeah, we are. If people are just coming the first time ever watching this show, this is like the most unvapid we ever are. I mean, we actually have a script now that we go down, and we like got all these stuff we talk about and everything. We used to just sit here for 2 hours just talking about what.
I would argue that that there are plenty of things like drop frames and stuff like that use the exact same format, and they still manage to talk about stuff and keep entertaining. Yeah, that's what this is about. We're entertaining you. So.
I'm always entertaining. I don't know about you guys.
I am not fucking entertained.
Are you not entertained?
No. One last part of that question that we kind of skipped over from Boil Down is about Squadron 42. When we think that coming out, I think Squadron 42, my guesstimation is probably like June or July of next year.
I say November next year.
I'm saying October or November.
You guys are pushing it all the way till now next year?
Yeah, I got a feeling that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
So I mean, it's so hard to tell right now because they've given us so little, but we know they've spent so much time on it. It's literally impossible right now to make an estimation.
I think it all dictates on them getting kind of like how they showed the Type 0 face animations and depth. I think it depends on how quickly the tools that they need get done, and they get the process streamlined to where they know now what to do, and it's kind of a redundancy. We kind of like what Aaron said. We got this when we fill up this library, this catalog archive of the metals, the different shapes, this and that. Once it's there and we've done it once, then it's just easy after that. We just keep getting faster and faster. So I think either it's going to be in the middle of next year or at the end of next year, because I think those two paradigm times can shift greatly depending on how streamlined the process gets and how efficiently it becomes. So that's what I'm kind of shooting for, mid to end.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on then. Next question. This one is from Headclot. How do you expect players to react to other players when the Puniverse goes live? Do you expect kill on sight similar to DayZ? Do you think will be NPC player-based police system?
You know what? From what I experienced in the 1.3, I think it's going to be kill on sight because people are in them carts and it's Grand Theft Star Citizen in there. I was one of the people, so I do admit it.
I've heard many of people talk about other space games, and the beginnings, like the very beginnings of other space games, is always chaos because people are just exploring and doing whatever the fuck they want to, and so kill on sight is just one of the things that comes with the territory.
Almost like every game, if you think about it, though, everyone goes straight for the kills.
It is. It's just crazy bullshit. I mean, H1Z1 when that launched.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was just.
I couldn't get shit started in there.
Yeah, it's like everybody just fucking kill you, and it's like. You're like, well, wait a second, it's supposed to be a survival game where we want to try to stay alive as much as we can because we've got zombies, but the zombies weren't any real threat, so all they had just to go kill everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed this earlier, part of the green zone system, right? There's going to be the area around the station where it's no PvP at all, and probably going to do a hard lock on your guns, but everywhere else it's free-for-all. But I'm hoping that people realize this isn't Arena Commander, this is the Pacific Universe, and there's going to be conflict. There's going to be people shooting you, but they're going to have a reason other than, I just want to see you burn.
Yeah,
well, and there's going to be
interesting interactions.
There are going to be PvP hotspots. They even talked about the specific stations where you go get missions and stuff like that. Those will be PvP hotspots. But you can still just like, you know what? I'm going to go to this moon of Crusader and just see what's around the moon. And you might encounter a mission or you might encounter an NPC. And it's what is it, 400 quadrillion miles or kilometers, whatever the heck. This map is so big, you could just set out without even going into Quantum Drive, and you may never, ever even see another human being or
Sounds
NPC.
like Elite Dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm actually interested if they're going to have the opportunistic matchmaking system in this, or if it's going to be the same lobby base we have. If they have that, that's going to be super interesting.
Some people just want to see spaceships burn. That's right.
Burn to the ground.
I think that once the persistent universe actually launches and it's real and you have permadeath, and then your ship has to get willed to somebody else and you're going to make a new character. And
oh, yeah.
That's going to change things. I think that hopefully will change the way people act, but maybe not. But there are... One of the things about a video game is it allows you to live out some of things you would probably never do. Like in Grand Theft Auto, I'm a bastard. I kill everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I buy hookers. I sell coke. I do whatever I can to make as much money. And in real life, I would never do that. But that's the way I can live out a fantasy of something I won't ever do in real life in a game. And maybe somebody would love to just go around murdering as many people as they possibly could, but they can't, obviously, because there's whole jails and courts and stuff, electric chairs. So,
see, but we don't get in trouble though. And we get in a little trouble on Grand Theft Auto, but in Star Citizen, it's going to be a whole different scenario. They're going to get fines and maybe put in jail or whatever. So we
that's
gotta
what I'm
watch.
hoping. I'm hoping in a way that there is some sort of criminal system in this game that if you do murder a lot of people, you start to get a bounty on your head, and then people will come hunt you down.
That's the reputation, yeah.
Yeah, and then,
I mean, that's the whole point. There's a whole... We don't have character-based level progression. We have financial progression and asset progression, but also reputation progression. And if you go around and murdering, like blowing up ships and screwing people and pirating, you're going to take hits on your UEE faction or your insert faction here. And that's where your progression is. It's you leveling up with certain groups that opens up new avenues for you to explore the verse. So I think and I hope that's how it's going to work. And it makes it a lot more interesting and dynamic. And then obviously that ties into the permadeath, where if you die, you lose some of the faction you've gained across the board, and that gets passed on to your next of kin, which is where the sting comes from dying, right?
Yep.
Which in turn obviously goes against or counters the I just want to fight everyone I see, because you might actually die and lose factions. So I'm all for that. The old school way of
I am too, and the cool part is some people really, really want to be a bounty hunter. And in other games, there really isn't a good bounty hunter system. You know? So having a really nice bounty hunter system in this game would be fantastic, because then if you really wanted to be a bounty hunter, you can go catch that asshole who's been murdering everybody.
Yeah, I definitely want to be Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
I love bounty systems. For Eve, because the Eve system wasn't quite there, I created a whole system with an in-game browser website and a whole database backend that people could actually, it had a proper bounty hunting system in there, because it just didn't have it. But if a game came along that actually had it, it would be such an immense part of the game for so many people.
Yeah,
it would be really comforting, because there's I don't have a whole lot of experience with that. I've played MMOs for a long time, but most of the time it hasn't really been an issue. But in a couple of occasions, I've either seen it or I've heard of it. And for instance, when Elite Dangerous came out, after a few months after it had been released, suddenly there's this big boom in popularity, and then you had people camping the few starter systems and just murdering everyone in open. And you had a way around it with solo and private, but if you wanted to play with other people, you were pretty much screwed, because you're in a Sidewinder and you're just blown up. Mm-hmm. There hasn't really been a sort of a system to penalize, for instance, the people who have that extra cash that want to spend the money on another copy of the game for another email to log in and do whatever they want on their like bullshit account and just slaughter everyone in their way. And there hasn't been a way to deal with those players when they go offline, right? So maybe they're on the same time zone as I am, and they get home from work and I get home from work, and I want to go trade and have fun with friends, and they just want to go rape, pillage everyone they want. Mm-hmm. And I can't stop that. And when they're done and I'm done, we both have to go to work the next day. So how am I able to enjoy the experience if I'm busy being griefed the whole time? So it's not easy. It's not easy to handle. But I do think what Captain Flint was talking about, a bounty system where players can actually put bounties on other people's heads, is both a natural system. It can definitely be exploited, but I feel like it could potentially, for the people who are hardcore players that are on like 18 hours a day, it'd give them a reason to defend people like the crew that shows up in Sagittarius A to defend explorers, something like that, but for Star Citizen. I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, you want to go to our next question?
Yes.
Next question. Next question.
This one is from Human Evil. Are you shocked since the Escapist article, the rest of the media have started to print facts and not clickbait rubbish?
Not shocked.
I think
Not
personally,
shocked.
real quick, I'll jump in this because I'm trying to get the giveaway started, so I'm going to do this answer and then I'll go do that and you guys can talk. Remember, everybody, that the clickbait articles are there to get you to click the ad, to go into the thing. So they're going to write the most egregious bullshit that they can possibly do legally without getting in trouble. And I think the Escapist article went over the line. At some point, not just for this game, but for people on the internet are starting to recognize that we're being used that way. And I think there's going to be a massive backlash. And there might be like ways for, like you have ad block, there might be like clickbait block or something that can sort of like there's a registered bunch of clickbait articles or videos or whatever, and it just gets put into a database, and then you just ignore it. Like you don't even see the link to it because you're just like, okay, that's obviously clickbait. So
wipe BuzzFeed off the internet.
Mm-hmm. All right, so all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing started for our first giveaway. So go ahead and you guys what your thoughts are.
First of all, shout out to Human because he's from my org. Praxis, baby, Praxis in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And those clickbait articles, they're looking real ass-hattish because just a few days ago, what was it, a VG24? They did a first impressions on, it was supposedly supposed to be Uncharted 4, but they were playing Uncharted 2. And the dude, a so-called fan of the Uncharted series, he couldn't tell the difference. Like, yeah, it's real familiar and it's the same and blah, blah, blah. And then a few days later, they had to come out and say, oh, well, you know what? We messed up. We were playing the remake version of Uncharted 2. I'm like, that's ridiculous. How you call yourself a fan and you don't know that was Uncharted 2? That's ridiculous.
That takes all of looking at the title screen and using your pair of eyes. If maybe he was doing a blind run.
I think there's a portion that maybe the press, because CIG have been quite passive with the news and not pandering to the sensationalism that happens in the news. It's clickbait, like Domo says. That's how it works. But I think with the Escapist article, I mean, that on its own, like many press people have said that was a terrible piece of reporting because of the lack of citing of resources, because of the breaches with the reporting code of ethics. But aside from all that, I think it's shown, despite the fact that maybe Chris's letter was very emotionally charged. It could possibly have done a slightly different way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and I back him 100%. But as for outside kind of opinion of that, if you're not behind him, you could see it's a very emotional letter, and maybe that could have been slightly different. But beside all of that, what it's shown is that CIG is not an easy target, and I think it has been an easy target for a while because people post articles to get the clickbait, but there's no response. Now it's like, no, enough's enough. We're drawing the line here. You need to actually just take the game for what it is, look at what it is, look at the evidence, cite your sources, make real decisions about the game, and report in a meaningful way.
Yeah,
and I think that's come out in the later reports, the later press, is that they have actually spent some time to think about it, to actually cite their sources, and to make informed decisions. Now, they're not all pro Star Citizen 100%, but they're balanced and informed, and that's all we need.
And the thing is that basically what it took was one of their constituents screwing up so hard that they walked into a lawsuit, like, because they were accusing CIG of some federally in the United States, it's against federal law for a lot of the stuff that they did. That was accusations of serious significance that they had absolutely no evidence for, or that the evidence was dubious at best.
Libel.
And the problem about it is, libel. And the problem about that is that can open up a lot of legal headaches. And a lot of these companies are owned by bigger companies, or they're just small, kind of run by fans, and they can't afford to get a Chris Roberts or Sandy Gardner to sue them, because they will lose, or they would lose in the sense they would have to spend all this money to defend themselves, and end up, even if they won, they would end up going broke. So I think for up till now it's been easy because they've been kind of seen as this small independent Kickstarter, and now that Chris Roberts finally had enough and said, I'm going to show my teeth. I'm going to this is the line which you cannot cross. A lot of companies have backtracked and said, well, we don't want to walk into a lawsuit on accident.
Yeah, exactly. and people who think that, if they decide to go, lawsuit and everything, that it's ludicrous that they're going to spend backers' money on this. Sandy, Aaron, Chris, they got millions of dollars.
Individually wealthy.
Yeah, individually wealthy. So, if anything, Sandy herself can take them to court and say, hey, you defamated me as a person, and then also go on court on top of that as a CIG representative of the HR department, saying that, hey, what you're saying is federal allegations, and you're not going to, you can't do that to us. You have no evidence, no firm evidence.
And I think what's funny? We live in a day and age now. It used to be, you was innocent till proven guilty. We live in a day and age now. If someone puts that title on you and try to assassinate your character, you're that. Like, you look at the Bill Cosby situation. No one really took him to court, but because of the alleged allegations, he's a rapist right off the bat. Like Patrick Kane.
I don't feel like that's ever. I don't feel like that's ever actually changed, though. You're talking about the court of public opinion, and I agree with you in that respect. What I saw about Chris Roberts actually responding to the Escapist article, this was the thing that really struck me, is that we didn't see a whole lot. There wasn't a whole lot of blowback from CIG for any sort of negative articles, because at the time they were kind of weak, right? Anybody who had anything to say, it didn't really affect the project, so it didn't affect their ability to deliver this game to the people who had been backing it, and it didn't affect their ability to reach their vision. But finally, you had an article that had it picked all the right points, because the court of public opinion is very fickle, and if you know how to push the right buttons, the public will stand behind you, even though they have no idea what you're talking about. That's what I saw here about this, and that finally there was something that would have everybody jumping ship just because if there was no response to CIG, then now it's going to be an admission of guilt. And it kind of upset me to see that Chris Roberts actually had to waste his time, in my opinion, is what it would initially look like, but in the reality is it was necessary to protect the project, to protect the backers from being, losing Star Citizen as sort of like an escalating series of events over the course of the next couple of years, to have to go and defend point by point. And I think part of it's a reflection on the irrelevancy of journalism today, because a lot of people don't care. They watch YouTube videos, they watch Twitch streamers and YouTube gaming, whatever. Anywhere they go, they like more personal, smaller communities to get their information from, and whether it's informed or not, it makes them feel more like it's more valuable to them. So, just like the same reason we see tabloids about Jennifer Aniston's new baby, or what does this other... It's the same kind of content that's just... It's superfluous. And like I said, I do agree that a lot of people jump right on board with any popular idea and just assume that it's true. O.J. Simpson, Michael Jackson, two really good examples, very big ones, for instance. And it's unfortunate because video games were so niche for such a long time, especially space games. Such a small thing, like the Underdog, sort of, but not even that. Just so different and weird. And even Star Wars, for a time, had the same kind of reputation. That now that it's changed and become more popular, it's just become big. It's now a target, and I don't know. I'm not very pleased with the whole thing, but I am happy that at least there was a serious response that I feel like was very effective.
After this, there may be a chance that Sandy may not even get a job, because it's that type of, like, when you get that type of allegations, there's a lot of people who don't get jobs or offered different roles and stuff like that just because an allegation like that. Like, that's ridiculous.
They're a risk at that point, and I agree with that.
Even with athletes, like, a whole bunch of people get claimed of rape. Kobe, Derrick Rose, Patrick Kane. And a lot of people want the attention, the money. Some of it can be real. I'm not saying that. Some of it can be real story. But a lot of times, people are looking for clickbait, looking for the quick dollar, the quick come up. And that's how people are rolling nowadays.
Yeah, the regular media has to do something to get some money back because they're losing out to people like PewDiePie and stuff. All right, let's move on. Question from Espresso. Do you think Ilphonic dropped the ball and now SIG has to rework a lot of the FPS core mechanics?
No,
I don't think they dropped the ball.
I don't think they dropped it, but I think when they acquired the Crytek team or CryEngine team, that was a big help, and they were able to push this to something that they thought they couldn't get to. I think that's what happened.
Yeah. I think basically they bit off more than they could chew, essentially. I mean, it's a very skilled team. They make they work on some great projects. They do some great work. But I think the level of perfection that Chris wants for the game, and the fact that he wants to innovate and do some things in FPS that have never been seen in an FPS game before, I think that Ilphonic were just slightly out of their depth. And it's no slight against them as a team, because they're a fantastic team. And the foundations, everything that we're going to get is based on work they've done. But I just think it needs to be taken to the next level, and this is where they kind of fell by the wayside.
You don't know for how it all came down either. They might have, the original scope of the project might have been fine. They could have done it, but Chris Roberts and his vision just like overwhelmed them and like, oh, we can't do that.
Exactly my point. Yeah.
And I was going to add on to that fact is that this is not the first time this has happened. People forget about CGBot. Those of us who've been around here for a long time remember that CGBot were the original people who did the ships. Before they had the ship pipeline, they actually had an outside company model and create the ships. And the problem was, and I think this is the main problem with the model of using outside sources or outside contractors to work in there, is that the models weren't always proportioned correctly. Or they weren't exactly what they had in the concept art, and it's because the communication wasn't as fluid. Whereas, like, Chris Roberts can get on a plane and fly to Manchester tomorrow and find a spot for him to sleep. because there's an employee or there's a hotel that they.
Well, he has his brother. He could go stay at his house.
Exactly. He goes to his house, and he can be hands on in the mucky muck, or even Aaron can go anywhere in any CIG offices and go there and talk to the people, and he knows their names, he knows who they are, he's been talking with them. It's a little different with an outside company because you have to liaison ahead of time. You have to make sure that, and you don't know exactly what's going on. So there's that disconnect in communication, which can also happen between outside companies. So I don't necessarily think it's Ilphonic's fault. I think what it was that Ilphonic did what they could, and Chris had his own vision. And at a certain point, what Ilphonic was capable of doing and what Chris wanted were two different things. And they had already acquired a bunch of more people, and so they just simply moved it on the inside because it was simpler and easier to deal with. Than
they weren't fired either, because y'all think they were fired. They were contracted for a certain amount of time, and then that was done. Especially with the Crytek team.
Yeah, and Ilphonic's making their own. They're making their own game. I mean, they've got a game that I've backed, which looks really cool. But I
think you, Cliffy, and Domo did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Squirrels backed it too. Yeah, I backed it very early when I researched Ilphonic. I bought the first $400 package.
I backed it, but that's because Clifford talked me into it because he's a bastard.
but that's going to take some time. That alone is going to take a lot of time. So they may have also pulled out, just be like, listen, we're putting too many resources in this.
But also, they're dealing with a totally different engine. They're dealing with the Unreal 4 engine, which is a lot easier to manage than the Crytek. And as soon as they get, like they said, as soon as they got the Crytek team, it was pretty much they knew where they needed to go then from there on.
Talking about Crytek team, what did y'all think of that video of the dude redoing the Vanguards in the Unreal Engine?
Yeah.
That video was dope.
Yes, that was he's done a lot of work like that, and it's really interesting to watch him work the model in the Unreal Engine.
There have been lots of really great community creative videos recently. I've been very impressed by the quality and the passion people have put into those projects. It's been pretty special.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We got a few more questions. Also, the giveaway is going up is coming up in a second. If you don't win, I'm giving away a swag pack next, which has a few pieces in it. This one was just to try to make sure. Swag pack is coming up next. This is all for your hanger. So when it says ship, it doesn't mean a real ship. It's the tiny little model. Let's see. This is from Eric McKetton. I don't know much about the gray market. Is it simply not viable as a solution to large backers who want to get some of their money back?
No, it is a viable option. It really is. Yeah, the Reddit, the trade system on Reddit is very efficient. They're very strict. I'm surprised. It's actually a good way that if people want to sell a ship and maybe get more money than just the initial.
There's a reason why it's called the gray market, not the black market, because not only is it CIG kind of turns a blind eye to it, but it's also very well regulated. They have treat people who are trusted, who have trusted in between, or people who are who mitigate these issues. And there are people who've been selling a lot of stuff who are a little bit more reliable, or people who buy a lot of stuff and they're a little bit more reliable, and so on and so forth. So I've had friends who use the gray market to buy things, and I've had friends who use the gray market to sell things. It's not an ideal situation, but if you have a large, huge packs, if you've got an old war pack, and you want to get rid of it, there's going to be someone who's going to buy it.
There's no other way that I could have gotten my Mustang Omega.
Yeah, I mean, and just to be fair, to account for the regulation in there, actually one of my viewers, who I won't name because it was a misunderstanding, but one of my viewers was selling a ship, and within a few hours of missing the deadline for the whole payment part of the trade, they'd found me on the RSA website. They'd contacted me, said, "Hey, look, we have this situation with one of your org members. We're not making a big deal of it, but speak to them, find out what's going on, and actually make sure the transaction goes through." So they're actually proactively making sure that people who are engaging in these interactions are above board and that they're following things through, it's nice to know. Whatever you think about the grey market, it's nice to know that at least it is regulated. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my friend, matter of fact, in my org, Drevin, he made a nice buck off of the gray market. He made some good money. He got a Vandal scythe off it, and he bought a whole bunch of ships from flipping his ships that he had. So it could be very good. Matter of fact, I'm gonna link the article. He did an article on Eurogamer, and it's a good read. So I would definitely highly recommend you guys read that.
Okay.
Yeah. I have different views about making money from such things. It's kind of like the ticket touters who buy out all the tickets for a show and then sell them to people for like over the money because they couldn't log onto the website fast enough. I have different views about that.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's allowing at least at the time that the gray market was created, it's allowing people who did not have the opportunity to buy packages or ships that were available early on, but were not available at the time. This was before a lot of the selling of the new ships the old ships came back. It gave them other people the opportunity to buy it. Now, was the price inflated worth it? No, but if the people want to pay for it, then that's fine. It's whatever they want to do. But McKetton had a follow-up asking, and that's why I wondered why these big backers are focused on getting a refund. Why not sell them if they just want their money back and aren't trying to make a statement? And I think the answer is that a lot of them are trying to make a statement. Mm-hmm. A lot of them want to have a refund system in place for Star Citizen.
That's what the one guy wrote me too. That's what he said. He said they're trying to get sort of something get a past history of this kind of stuff so that they can.
So they can have and the thing is, and a lot of people want to do that, not because they don't like the project, but simply because they want to be able to how to put this, because they want to have it so that the project itself has even more credibility.
Yeah.
Because if you say back this project, this is all it costs, and if you don't want it, you can get your money back. That whole if you don't like it, you can get your money back guaranteed kind of thing. That people are a little bit more willing to risk their money if they know that it's not really a huge risk. So.
Well, it needs to be a system in place like Steam. If you play a game for how many hours...
Pause. Fallout 10mm, you have 1 minute to type in claim. 1 minute to type in claim Fallout, claim it, and then we'll go into the next one. Sorry, go ahead.
Like that one guy, I forgot, he demanded for a refund. He put in, 30, 40 hours into it. Then he wanted to get a refund. I mean, what game do you play for that long you're going to get a refund? I can't think of that many games. I know on Steam, you're asked out after 2 hours in a few days, like a 2-week time span. So they just need to make a system like that. Like you play the game for 3 hours or 4 days or whatever, you could get your money back. But after that, that's it.
All right, let me ask the next question so I can get the next giveaway started. Fallout, I'm going to send you information on how you can claim it. You actually already claimed it. I'll send you information on how I can send it to you. Okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Fallout. He's a regular on my channel. So
he's a good guy.
I hate you because I didn't win.
No. This is the next question here. I didn't read this, so this is great because I'll be ignoring it while you guys are talking. How about them talking about the Moby-Glass missions and the overlay in the weekly update letters? Super hyped to use the Moby.
Yeah. I want to see the Moby.
Moby Fat.
I can't wait to see the possibilities on the use of it on phones and tablets too.
Yep.
Yeah. That star map, that's all I could think of is on a nice tablet, and you just like.
Well, I know my experience with using tablets or really any big screen phone app with the game has been generally positive. If it's anything like you could refresh my memory a little bit. I'm new to that information, but if it's anything like Assassin's Creed 4, where I could manipulate the map and set points of interest that would then appear in the game, I'm sold. That itself was amazing for me.
Yeah, the Moby Glass is essentially like an in-game smartphone that you wear on your arm, and it has different apps do different things depending on where you are. You can actually get apps for navigation and stuff like that. And so one of the theories is that you'll be able to put a lot of these apps that are on the Moby Glass into your smartphones. You'll be able to use them in smartphones. So if you
strap
want
it to your arm like a Pip-Boy.
Like a Pip-Boy, exactly.
What they call it in the industry is it's a second screen experience. And
like Grid.
So much,
it's just like Grid.
That sounds wonderful.
There's so much potential in there.
Even when they finally show us the first iteration of the actual, I guess, extreme edition of the HUD system with the OLED display on it, I can't wait to see what they do with that OLED display on what you can incorporate on your HUD setup.
That one.
So, I mean, I theorized something for a game project I was thinking about for a while, but it would be super cool because we have a 1960 engineering standard UI that we're going to have on the engineering systems, for example. It'd be super cool is if once you interact with the engineering UI and you're locked into it, you would be able to log in with your account on a second screen, be it an iPad or a tablet of some description, and have that 19:6 screen that you can physically interact with on the panel in front of you, rather than having to interact in the game with your mouse or whatever. So you can have it set up on your desk next to you, and when you're logged into the engineering screen, you can just interact with your hands.
That would be wonderful.
How amazing would that be?
It sounds
within
like
the realms of feasibility.
And
it sounds like
amazing.
an upgrade of something
motion.
that a few games have done. Like
Yeah,
you ever play,
you got the wavy hand thing.
well, like when
that's what
I
that is.
played Deus Ex, and you had a keypad, and if you're playing on PC, you could use the number pad and punch it in, and it worked. And I thought that was the most amazing thing ever, because it felt real.
Yeah.
That's beyond.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's not even giving an advantage. It's not an advantage you're getting. It's just an alternative control scheme. And as we've seen from Star Citizen, they're all about alternative control schemes. And you can have like keyboard, mouse, keyboard, joystick, HOTAS, HOTAS and mouse and banana. Like whatever you want to control the game with, you can pretty much do it. So that's just an extension of that. It's like you can use your keyboard and mouse on the engineering screen, or maybe you'll have it on the second screen, and you can set up your whole engineering station at your desk, because that's how you want to go, and fully immerse yourself in that crazy experience. And I think the potential for that is immense.
Let me interrupt real quick and tell you everybody what we're giving away. This is a mega pack. The Tetsuo Aegis Gladius model, the Puglisi Collection Vandus Scythe Armor, the Gamescom 2945 trophy, the Tetsuko, Starfarer model, and the CitizenCon 2945 subscriber trophy.
Domo, Gray asked, who asked that question, Domo?
Who asked what question? The one they just...
Oh, the Moby?
Yeah.
The Moby? It was
gray-headed Derek.
Gray-headed Derek Smart, yeah.
I mean, I would control my ship with 2 PlayStation Move controllers and a flashlight, but
Yeah.
Why not? Exactly.
you can do it.
All right, next question. What will Star Citizen offer in terms of non-combative activities, both FPS and spaceship things? This is from Simmer514. I don't know if he's that deep in the verse like a lot of us, so the question might seem a bit...
That's cool. No, that's all good.
The answer is everything.
Farming, overclocking, science,
Mining.
You can be a doctor.
Smuggling.
Trading,
trading,
Space whores.
Racing.
Ultimately,
Mercenary.
it's what's going to separate Star Citizen from any other Star Citizen, every other space game, any other sandbox game on the market. It's the breadth of options you have as a gamer that doesn't involve just pew-pewing people in the face.
Mm-hmm.
More options than Star Wars Galaxies.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be a space trucker. You can cruise and just ship things from place to place. And even though, like I asked a question on RTV one week, and Ben and Leslie kind of laughed at me for, why would you not want to fly a spaceship? But I honestly, given what they're planning for the game, I honestly think you could play the entire game without even flying a spaceship. Like I would go to a planet, I would buy up a whole load of goods, I would hire, or I would contract some pilots with a freelancer to ship my goods, hop on this spaceship, fly with the goods to another planet, and just you could literally. So I plan when the game releases, or when the PU releases or PU beta releases, to just spend a week and not actually fly a single spaceship, and prove that can be done with the vision that Star Citizen is right now. And I think that's what's going to set it apart, and that's what's going to give it the depth and the breadth of the universe that we need.
Well, also it gives players who only initially just put in $45 just for Little Aurora to experience the other parts of the game without really footing any of their UE hard-earned credits until they say, hey, can I help you ship that from one place to other, so I can help you navigate with your ship and make a little profit and see if I like it or not. And that's kind of like what I want to do with all my ships is have a bunch of people just fly with me on the different ones and see if they like it or not before they spend their hard-earned credits on it.
Even with a Genesis, you could just be like a regular pilot and just fly passengers across the verse back and forth that you want to do.
Dude, it's like, just be a Star Marine. You're a fair FPS player. All I want to do is run around with a gun and shoot people. There's a place for you in the verse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By day, I load packages onto delivery trucks. By night, I load packages onto delivery trucks.
One of the things that I think that Star Citizen specifically will do, and here's one of the things that, for instance, like that I don't think they have planned right now, but I'm sure they'll add in eventually, is that Star Wars Galaxy just did, which was like the music playing and stuff like that. Is that they're not really building necessarily like careers as they are building features that players can take advantage of to make money.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more focused on the fact that everyone can play it, and so you get people.
And you're not locked into a career. It's a good point.
No.
You're in the whim of the moment. Like right now, you want to go do space trucking, and a little bit later, you're like, you know what? I think I want to go shoot some people in the face.
Yeah, or say you've been trading, and there's pirates that have been attacking, and you just have it enough. You just say, you know what? I'm going to sell my ship. I'm going to get an Avenger, and I'm going to go become a bounty hunter. And that whole organic experience is what they're trying to build. So
exactly, that's the whole dichotomy, right? That we have with Star Citizen. You have two parts. You have they have the Squadron 42, which is a story-driven. Even though it's kind of open-ended with the way you play, but it's a story-driven game that has the FPS and the combat stuff. But then you have the PU, which is 100% sandbox. They're giving us tools. They're giving us basically they're giving us the framework to build the universe within, and then it's up to us to build that verse. And that interesting dichotomy of what they have is amazing. And you can go from the one story-driven to the completely open-ended sandbox universe. And I love both those things. I stream both those things, but having them both in the same universe, it blows the mind for me.
Mm-hmm. And then you're going to have things that's not even meant to be in the game, like a diplomatic standpoint. Like they're going to need a middleman to work deals out with orgs that are having beefs or something like that. You can make a career out of that, and that's not even really in there.
One of the things that my org wants to do, a lot of guys in my org want to do, is kind of be middleman for pirates, because the stuff is going to be hot after they steal some stuff, and so they'll need a place to sell it so that that's safe, that they can get some money off of. And so the concept of having like fences, I don't think they've even kind of discussed fences, but it's one of those things that may just end up being one of those roles that they never really planned for that exist. So because of the other systems they built in. So that's the
exactly.
other cool part.
Well, it's emergence, right?
Clifford's got the space towel, which has Chris Roberts' DNA on it.
They were. Marco Hex was asking where my towel was. Well, there you go. There's my towel. I have it.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like, but honestly, like games that do new things with cool technological features, they get me kind of excited.
Mm-hmm.
Like interesting stories get me kind of excited.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
That facilitate emergence, like games that have the tools in place that things can happen that they can't even plan. They get me insanely excited, and that's what I'm seeing is coming along for Star Citizen, the Precision Universe, and that's why I'm so crazily excited about the game.
We're all happy in the pants for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, Jet Fusion, more than a teaspoonful. I think he's got about a bucket. Clifford's been working his ass off. He used to be about 400 pounds, so he's been exercising.
Wait, who used to be 400 pounds?
Cliffy,
no way.
Yeah, he's been working so hard to get in that Chris Roberts DNA that he's skinny now. Look at him.
I don't believe that. You got to send me a picture.
All right, let's see. I guess it'll probably be our last question. We're almost ready to do our giveaway, so we'll wrap this one.
Did y'all put my post up over for the gray market to help them out?
Your post.
I put it in Skype because I couldn't.
I can't see Skype chat until we're done. Okay.
You could just sub.
Yeah, sub. All right. No, just don't do that. Okay, so
sub and follow all these awesome people, and everyone's happy.
Okay, so this is from Headcloud. It's a little bit what we were talking about, but we can elaborate on it more, I guess. Headcloud asks, do you think in Star Citizen there will be a player-driven justice system similar to Arcade or Ultima Online?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What was it called? The Council? There's something they already built in.
Because they even said
that's run by GMs or something like that, or run by players.
Also this you got to remember the UE Senate's going to be in there, and they even said that you're going to be able to do some politics, like
maybe
on voting and stuff like that. Because they already did that mock-up voting system. Like, what do you want in the universe? Is the UE Army doing what they need to be doing? This and that. I'm thinking they're actually going to have that in the PU to where you actually will get like a little letter in game and say, okay, is the UE doing good? Do you want to fund them more money of your taxpayer dollars? Blah blah blah. And I think they'll actually implement some of that fun stuff.
Well, but the people are saying the issue council, but there was an actual council for airing grievances that they came up with. It was a stretch goal, I believe, way back then. That actually where players or GMs can actually. Players can go and bring their grievances to GMs or to this council, and the council can make a decision that is binding for what's going on. And it's supposed to be some in-lore like arbitration.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind getting stuck in jail. Like if my character was stuck in jail for like 3 days, I had to stay in jail, but they gave me like something to do while I was in jail, like I could play the market or something like that while I was in it, whatever.
Play with
myself. That's very immersive.
And arcade, the way they went about it, if you were associated with a certain org, it's a bad thing to have players run it, because if you were with someone like the Goons and people who don't like them, they were just automatically going to jail. Like, oh, you're a Goon, you obviously did it. Bam, you would go to jail all the time. So they'll have to find a way to kind of balance that out.
Well, at the same time, then what that would do is they would push people to the fringes in terms of like, well, you don't like me, then I'm going to go join this other group, and it allows for more emergent gameplay. Which emergent gameplay is a nice thing to say because it rolls off the tongue, but it's also very fun,
chaotic.
Yeah, but someone has some personal feelings, like, oh yeah, I remember one of their groups killed me, so I'm gonna ban him for whatever he did because that other person did something.
I mean, hopefully there'll be checks and balances. There'll be a large enough group to where, but there's judges that get paid off in real life too. So, and
people go to jail because of the reputation.
Rory Bellows won. All right, Rory, you type in ! Claim. You got 1 minute to do it.
I know in arcade, almost everybody was guilty. Every time, I never seen no one really go innocent on arcade. It was probably like maybe once out of 10 times, every 10 times they were probably not guilty. It was always.
So this is what this sounds to me like one of the things I was thinking earlier, which is it's very painfully obvious is going to be a reality of the game. On one hand, the emergence of that kind of gameplay is fascinating to me, both as a social experience and just as a reality in its undertaking technically. But my expectation is going to be that they can't plan for everything, and they're never going to be able to plan for everything, and it's going to be a lot of firefighting no matter what you do. However, a chaotic reality of the game experience in such a way as you've described is, to me, exhilarating. I would be interested to see that, however frustrating it may actually be.
Yeah.
All right. I actually have to cut us off here.
Done.
Okay.
No, don't you do it. No.
Yes, we're all done at this point. Let's go around the room real quick, and everybody tell us. Let's start with Mr. Berserker. Tell us where people can find you, where you stream from, whatever.
All right, so you can find me on Twitch with Twitch TV/Berserker01. You can find me on Twitter at Berserker01. I stream a nightly a live stream of space games called The Station, where you play games like Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, lots of other things. That goes 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. During the week, and then on Saturdays I do it in the mornings before here. So
awesome, Mr. Captain Flint.
Hey, so I am Captain Flint. I am Captain_Flint. You'll see me in the chat. I stream pretty much every day. I do have 2 days off a week, which generally aren't days off because I stream anyway. I don't know how that works, but I generally stream between 8 p.m. UK and 11 p.m. UK, which probably is about 4 a.m. Primarily Star Citizen, but a multi-streamer, and also I have lots of random videos on YouTube, Captain Flint TV, all one word.
Give them all a follow. Say some stuff in chat so people can click your name and follow you. All right.
Let's do that.
Mr. Cliffy, a.k.a. Miku.
Clifford _AKA_ Miku on Twitch, and Clifford_Miku on Twitter and the YouTubes.
And tubes. Thank you, Stillas, for keeping on the ball with that. Thank you. Mr. Geo.
And you can find me, Geo Get Money, everywhere. And, I do live streams of Line of Defense on my YouTube and Twitch. It's the best game I ever played. It's not finished, but you guys can catch all my gameplay of that Nintendo 64 game.
It's amazing.
It's really good. Pretty high-res graphics.
It was supposed to come out 2012, but, it's okay.
All right. Last but not least, Mr. Biogen.
I also stream Line of Defense on Meredith. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so yeah, I'm BiogenX2B. Some of you may know me. You may have seen me in such programs as Twitch and Twitter and pretty much anywhere else on the internet. So I stream a lot of games. I'm usually streaming whatever game has got me most addicted, which right now is Rebel Galaxy.
It's great, isn't it?
So I can't stop putting that game into my face.
It is really
The
good.
music is amazing in that game.
Yeah, it is, and I added to it as well. So I'm always taking suggestions for additional stuff. But for any game in particular, right now, it's been fantastic. You can find me on the internet. And if you want to follow me, that's cool. If not, I don't know who you are anyway. So no hard feelings.
All right, so I'm Geekdomo. I'm here every day. Just one real quick thing is thank you for Bad News Baron for the host and all the other hosts that did tonight. If I saw some going by, but the chat was going by kind of quickly. Very great night tonight. Thank you so much. This show should be available on iTunes probably tomorrow, and you can find it over on YouTube as well. Thanks everybody for coming by tonight, and we'll see you all next week. And then once again, hats off to Mr. TotalBiscuit. Hopefully he can get through this thing and kick its ass. So thanks everybody.
All right, y'all have a good night now, right?
All right. Remember, it's nice to be important, but more important to be nice. See ya.
Okay, you know.